Hello, welcome to Spotlight. Today I'm going to be talking about the Nord-Drum 3P. If that sounds like something you'd be into, stick around. Okay, so the Nord-Drum 3P is a drum synth set up with 6 pads and kind of a brain unit. I use it with the Arturia Beatstep Pro, using it just as a sequencer. I have also toured with it where I'm using the pads live with drumsticks. Works well like that too. It's a really cool synth. And it has a lot of great sounds. You can do some bass stuff with it. You can do some kind of bells and kind of harmonic sounds with it, but it's mainly for drums. It has some really cool kind of waveforms and ways to make drum sounds that are kind of unique, but always kind of have a similar kind of world. Like everything that comes out of here has kind of a Nord-Drum sound. I use a lot of the different presets in my normal live streams, so I'm often having different beats programmed, and I'll just scroll through the banks. It is a little bit tricky to get this rig set up with the Arturia Beatstep Pro and the Nord-Drum 3P. I'm going to put a link to a video that shows you what MIDI mapping you need to do to make that happen. You do have to plug in your Beatstep Pro into the computer and assign the MIDI channels correctly, because the Nord-Drum has some unusual channel requirements. But first, let me just kind of go through some of my favorite sounds, how I kind of use it with this rig, and where I think this Nord-Drum really kind of excels. Okay, so if we start off with just a 4-on-the-floor kick, I have that lined up here. These pads are all assigned to the different pads here, so pretty simple sequencer stuff. I'm on the first bank, number 1, 4-on-the-floor kick. If I want to adjust that sound, I can go drum select here, and then you'll see that's in the first spot. So if I go, I can see, okay, here's the wave that it's using, the frequency, decay, bend. That's all kind of shaping the tone. Then I have a noise level, the channel level, and the pan. And then here's where things kind of get more fun. You have some noise. So just some different options there. And then you have a few effects in here. So if I go to the reverb, you can turn the reverb up here. You select your reverb. This is like the plate. That's your so this is kind of set for every different channel. Will have the same. Then if you go to delay, you'll see, okay, this is the time. And this is the feedback. So if we turn up the feedback and we go back here, give it a bit of delay. Maybe we want to try a different time. So you can see, once you get a handle of how this works, you can do pretty much everything with this knob here and the lower parameter button. So it can be pretty useful on the fly. Okay, so say we have a whole groove going now. And of course we can go drum select and, change the distortion somewhere. So if we just want to up the distortion on the kick. But what if we want to do that to every channel? We hit the shift button, all channel. So you can get some pretty quick stuff with that all channel edit button. If we get out of there, we go back, you just end up having quite a few different sounds you can do. So let's just pull up another groove. So we have that going, and say we want to just kind of add some delay to the snare drum. So you can see pretty quickly a lot of cool sounds happening in here. All of it's very customizable. And when you have a sequencer, this also works with the Nord Drum app on your iPad, which I have used, and it's pretty cool. But having a hardware sequencer is much better for me in my workflow. It is a bit tricky kind of getting through some of those sounds, but once you know where your fingers need to go, you can be pretty quick and on the fly. I'll have my other synths here, and I'll be working them at the same time. So it is nice to be able to just grab, okay, add some delay or whatever to something and move on. So the pros and cons for this thing. Pros, the sounds are super great. I think what you can get out of this is really cool. I think there's a lot of great kind of tonal options that are pretty unique to this instrument. There's a lot of kind of cool, unique toms and kind of electronic drum sounds that I think are really attractive and awesome. It's pretty portable. I wish that this version came without the pads. Now that I don't use the pads very much, it's nice to. It would be nice if it was just a little bit smaller, but it works great. And it has a little bit of multi-purpose. I can use it live if I want some electronic sounds. And it also has a kick input for a trigger. So when I've played live, sometimes I'll plug in a kick trigger and then play the top. So you can get some cool sounds with it live in that way. And then you also can use it in this way with a sequencer. Cons for this thing, I wish that you could put in some of your own sounds and mess with them. So I wish that there was some ability to add your own stuff to it. It's really very much this is what you get kind of. It's not like an SPDX or anything like that where you can load in your own samples. This is all the samples that you can use are in here, and it's really limited to that. I wouldn't mind having the ability to do more outputs on it. I know in the previous version of this, they had outputs, analog outputs for more than just stereo. So you could output your instruments, kick, snare, hi-hats, or whatever. But overall, I think this is a really cool instrument. It's definitely got a place in my kind of rig, and I really enjoy the sounds that come out of it. But it is pretty limited at the same time. It's like it only does the one thing. It only does kind of that certain kind of synth drum sound. That being said, you can get a lot done with that sound, but you have to want that sound. And when I bought it, I didn't necessarily know how limited it was. And so it's taken me some time to kind of adapt to it and find and be able to get the things that I want out of it. I think if you're looking for like a drum synth that also can kind of go live and be played with sticks, it's a pretty cool option. I think there's some other things out there that probably compete with it, but for me, the sounds that you get out of here are pretty amazing, and that's what it has kept it around for me, is that the tone of the drums is super great. Yeah, I would say pick one of these up if you're looking for a great kind of synth drum that can do a lot of different things and has some kind of built-in effects and some kind of cool ways to shape the sound. Really get in there and just make it the way that you hear it in your head. Overall, a really cool piece of gear. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Zachary Smith. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.